Hello, this is News Plus on Viewer Television. I am Ambassador Jesse. Here's the news. The Supreme Court has adjourned the suit filed by some state governments to challenge the 10 February deadline set by the Central Bank of Nigeria to end the use of old Naira notes. A 7-member panel of the court led by John Okoro adjourned the case until 22nd February. The adjournment dashed the hopes of many Nigerians who were anticipating a definite pronouncement of the court to address the federal government's refusal to comply with its earlier order suspending the 10th February deadline. The crisis has plunged many citizens and their businesses into hardships, with many finding it extremely difficult to meet their basic daily needs. Many believe that a further adjournment of the hearing and final resolution of the case by the court will deepen the hardships Nigerians are grappling with as a result of the Naira redesign policy of the CBN. Protesters in their thousands have blocked major roads within Ibadan metropolis over the scarcity of fuel, new Naira notes, and the rejection of the old notes by commercial banks and commercial outlets. The protests, which affected areas like Iwo Road, Bodija, Mokola, Aleyele, Erua Road, Bopa, and others, forcing commuters to take to their legs and drivers seeking alternative roads to their destinations. The protesters, who were mostly youth, were seen burning tires on the roads, while motorists were hurriedly making U-turns to avoid being caught up in the protest. Most of the motorists plying the roads in the affected areas were seen displaying leaves conspicuously in front of their vehicles as a show of solidarity with the protesters. The protesters called on the federal government and the Central Bank of Nigeria to urgently address the situation, as they could no longer stand watching their livelihood being threatened. The National Emergency Management Agency says it has received a batch of 150 distressed Nigerians from Niamey, Niger Republic. The Director General of the agency, Mustafa Ahmed, received the returnees on arrival, according to a statement made available to newsmen. Ahmed was represented by Coordinator of NEMA Territorial Office, Ibrahim Farinloi. Other agencies said to have participated in the operation were the Nigeria Immigration Service, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, the Nigeria Police, and Nigeria Port Health Services. The head of mission of the International Organization for Migration, Lauren Dubuc, reportedly witnessed the reception organized by NEMA. Justice Obiora Egwatu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has fixed ruling in the bail application by Ali Bello and 3 others standing trial in an alleged 3 billion naira fraud charge brought against them by the federal government. The judge announced February the 20th for ruling shortly after counsel representing parties argued for and against granting the bail application of the defendants. A senior advocate, Ahmed Raji, who argued the applications of the 4 defendants, observed that the offenses brought against his clients were ordinarily bailable and as such should be conceded and granted. He also stated that bail was at the discretion of the court and that the court should use its discretion in favor of the defendants. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested a fraudster, Salman Umar Hudu, an indigent of Kano State. He was arrested at a hotel in Abuja for falsely presenting himself as the EFCC chairman, Abdul Rashid Bawa, and other officers of the commission. The anti-graft agency said Hudu allegedly obtained 100,000 naira from a person he convinced that he could handle any matter with the commission. This was disclosed in a statement posted on the commission's website. The EFCC said the suspect has provided useful information and will be charged to court upon the conclusion of investigations into his activities. Rising from an emergency session and its first meeting this year, the National Economic Council has endorsed Nigeria Agenda 2050, designed to take the country through to upper middle income country and subsequently to the status of high income countries. At a meeting presided over by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the Agenda 2050 was presented by the Ministry of Finance. budget and national planning to the state governors and other members of NEC, including federal ministers. Speaking after the presentation and discussion by council members, Professor Osinbajo observed that the plan captures a lot of the expectations for Nigeria in the future and hopefully implementation, which is key if effectively done. Also commending on the Agenda 2050, the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning, Prince Clem Agba, said the federal government has taken unprecedented steps in ensuring the operationalization of the plan, especially with the inauguration of the steering committee of the National Development Plan by the Vice President. The governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, says the G5 or integrity group within the People's Democratic Party is not running out of steam, adding that the group will act out its plan in the February 25th, 2023 presidential election. Governor Wike spoke during the party's governorship campaign in the Ahoada East local government area of Rivers State. The G5 is made up of 5 aggrieved governors of the PDP in southern Nigeria, including Wike, Samuel Ortom, Benue, Sheyi Makinde, Oyo, Okezie Ikpeazu, Abia, and Ifeanyi Ogwanyi, Enugu. The 5 governors have been consistent in their demand that Iyorchia Ayu step down as PDP national chairman as a precondition for them to support the presidential ambition of the party's flag bearer, Atiku Abubakar. The 5 governors known to embark on foreign trips together and solidarity campaigns in their states have not been seen together in public. The development fueled speculations that their alliance is of no effect anymore. The outgone Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Alabi, has assured residents of Lagos and Ogun states that they will exercise their civic right in an atmosphere of peace and security during the forthcoming general election. Alabi spoke against the backdrop of viral voice notes of alleged threats to non-indigents to vote for a particular political party or they would be visited by violence. The outgone Commissioner of Police, who was redeployed as Acting Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 2, comprising Lagos and Ogun states, said the police will continue to deal with those who believed they could make the state ungovernable. He said security operatives had continuously mopped up firearms and arrested miscreants and cultists, adding that he would ensure they did not relent in their efforts to keep troublemakers at bay. After this short break, we'll be right back with the news. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Ike Marton. Being an anchor has been a tremendous experience, from editing the news to reading the news. As an anchor, you have to be objective and impartial. Sometimes you have to put on a very indifferent look, a stoic character, such that you do not display your emotions. But then the stories that we tell, from politics to the economy to insecurity to education, also affect us. And as journalists, we're also affected by stories. From the teleprompter to the lights to the camera to the action to the reading of the news, it's all a synchronization of various activities at the same time. Sometimes you have to listen to feedback, sometimes you have to stop, sometimes you have to continue. Sometimes, there are technical hitches that we can never overlook, but then you have to come up with a strategy, you have to come up with your professionalism to ensure that the audience do not even know what is happening behind the scenes, and then you just have to carry on.
Welcome back to NEWSPLUS on Viewer Television. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Labour Party movement continues to gain momentum in several states as professionals for Obidati presidency grassroots mobilization hit the streets of Kaduna to show support for their Labour Party candidates. Members of the group took turns to address the electorates and urged them not to sell their vote, but to thumbprint on the Labour Party logo in the 2023 general elections for the actualization of a better Nigeria.
Rally, bringing all obedience in Kaduna State together, and then we'll march towards Ahmadu Bello Stadium. We are fully prepared. As you can see, all the polls that have been done so far has put our party ahead of all other parties. And you can see us on the street also. You see the number of people that are with us. So this election is ours, and we are going to win the election from top all through to all of our candidates.
Every Nigerian as at today knows what is going on, and we know that vote buying has been committed before now. Labour Party does not buy votes, and we cannot advise people to buy votes. And I know that all obedience have decided that we are not going to sell our votes, so they cannot buy our votes. We are also sensitizing the public, the candidates themselves, that they should not buy votes.
I believe with the president, we are hoping, praying to have on board. Definitely, we're going to change the narrative, and we're going to push to make sure the common man see the light of the day once more again. Breathe in fresh air of hope.
The Kaduna State Labour Party gubernatorial candidate, Jonathan Asaki, also assures the electorate that integrity, which forms part of his watchword, will not be abused as he vows to fill the missing links if elected governor of the state.
My manifesto has security as topmost on the agenda. The insecurity has become the problem of everybody. Farmers can no longer go to farm, and schools have been closed down, churches have been closed down, mosques have been closed down, businesses have been closed down, and you can just imagine the suffering, the poverty that people are going through. And so my leadership will definitely tackle that because I've experienced it, I have seen it, and I will live by my words.
Meanwhile, our Kaduna State correspondent, Michael Monday, also engaged eligible voters on the streets to get their thoughts on who is competent and deserves to be the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The leader have failed us. Among all the leaders, they have the opportunity. Second chance, second expression does not matter. Why won't you express for the first time? We want to go with Obi because we believe that he feel our pain.
We are tired. We are tired. Killings everywhere. No sincerity. Particularly our constitution. I advise our leader of today, they should stick by our constitution.
The Federal High Court in Lagos has granted bail to an actress, Oluwadarasimi Omoshe, who was arraigned before the court by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for allegedly spraying new naira notes at a party. Justice Chukwujeku Aneke, who admitted the actress to bail in the sum of 5 million naira with one surety in like sum, also ruled that the surety must be a public servant in the service of the Federation or the Lagos State government, not below the rank of grade level 12, or a holder of a genuine statutory certificate of occupancy of a developed landed property within the Lagos State municipality. The court also held that the certified true copy of the original statutory certificate of occupancy of the landed property is to be deposited with the registrar of the court, and in the case of the public servant, an official letter from his or her head of department stating the status and salary level of the surety. The judge also ordered that the actress be further remanded in the Kirikiri Correctional Facility pending the perfection of the bail terms before adjourning the matter till April the 3rd for trial. The Katsina Police Command says its operatives have neutralized 2 bandits and rescued a kidnapped victim. The operatives also repelled several bandits in 2 communities. SP Gambo Isa, Command's public relations officer, in a statement said the command received a distress call that terrorists in their numbers shooting sporadically with AK-47 rifles attacked Kitibawa village, Dutsinma local government area, and kidnapped one Ado Rumawa. He said the area commander in Dutsinma immediately led the police patrol team to the area and engaged the terrorists in a gun duel, adding that the team succeeded in repelling the terrorists as one of them was neutralized according to him. A kidnapped victim was rescued and hurt, while many of the terrorists fled with gunshot wounds. The United Nations Children's Fund and the National Economic Summit Group have launched a new partnership aimed at addressing child rights violations and poverty in Nigeria. The partnership, which was supported by the federal government, will focus on aligning the nation's poverty reduction strategy with the Child and National Multi-Dimensional Poverty Index. It will also help in reviewing social sector policies towards reducing child poverty and implementing presidential-level accountability measures for reporting and feedback on child rights and poverty in Nigeria.
They are the leaders of tomorrow. And so it's important that we must then invest and plant the seeds to ensure that these children will truly become the leaders of tomorrow. And so if a child suffers and have negative growth or negative development at the early child, you are laying a not so good foundation for tomorrow. And for us at the NESG, our focus is always to promote the modernization of the Nigerian economy into one that is sustainable, that is globally competitive.
As the 2023 general elections approaches, the Nigerian Army, in collaboration with other sister security agencies, have commenced a 3-division operations planning cadre in Bauchi aimed at addressing security challenges in some parts of the country. In his welcome address, General Officer Commanding 3-Division Nigerian Army Major General A.B. Ibrahim says the aim of the seminar is to make sure that junior and middle-level cadres are up to date with contemporary security issues and how to respond to some challenges. Our Bauchi State correspondent, Awal Hassan, completes the story.
Addressing Nigeria's security challenges requires a multi-sectoral approach, especially now that many dimensions of insecurity have continued to emerge.
Militancy in the south, insurgency in the northeast, banditry and terrorism in the northwest. Each form of insecurity has its own peculiar set of challenges requiring individualized training for security personnel operating in various zones.
In a quest to address some of the security challenges in the country, there is the need for proper planning, part of which is equipping the security personnel with the knowledge of contemporary security issues.
So this is to make sure that junior and middle level commanders are up to par with contemporary issues and how to respond to all these challenges. Additionally, in let's say next week Saturday, the general elections begin. How do they react? How do we ensure that we have free, fair and credible elections? So all these things are the objectives we're going to carry out.
Hence, the lectures in this cadre are particularly crafted to provide security personnel operating in the North Central and Northeast regions of operation with the necessary tools for facing security challenges peculiar to these regions.
The General Officer commanding 3 Division Nigerian Army, Major General A.B. Ibrahim, who was represented by Major General Eyitayo Oyinlola, however, charges the participants to make use of the presentation sessions and be interactive.
To all participants in general, I urge you to take keen interest in all the presentations during this gathering. The lecture on junior leadership should be of particular interest to young officers who are deployed in various locations across the North Central and Northeast theaters of operations. I further urge you, all participants from diverse backgrounds, to be objective in your contributions during the interactive sessions.
Awal Hassan, Viewer TV News, Bauchi.
The African Union Commission has announced that it would be sending a 90-strong observer mission to Nigeria for this month's elections. The African Union Election Observation Mission is being headed by former Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta, who helped broker a deal to end 2 years of war in northern Ethiopia and is mediating in the conflict in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. Nearly 100 million people will vote to choose the successor to President Muhammadu Buhari, who steps down after 2 terms as Nigeria struggles with widespread insecurity and economic malaise. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Electoral Commission had said that 240 polling centers will not be used in upcoming elections as no one had chosen them due to insecurity in the surrounding areas. At least 73 Europe-bound migrants and refugees are missing and presumed dead following a shipwreck off the coast of Libya, the United Nations Migration Agency has said. The International Organization for Migration said on Twitter that Libyan authorities retrieved at least 11 bodies from the wreck. The UN says 7 people survived and made it to Libyan shores in extremely dire conditions, adding that they were taken to a hospital. The shipwreck was the latest sea tragedy in the central Mediterranean, key route for migrants. According to the IOM's Missing Migrants Project, 25,821 migrants and refugees have gone missing in the Mediterranean since 2014. The European Union's executive arm proposed new sanctions on Russia that will cut off goods worth 11 billion euros and target Iran's drone producers over the war in Ukraine. European Commission Chief Ursula Leyen said she hopes the EU's 27 member states would agree to the new package as part of a joint battery of G7 sanctions on the 1-year anniversary of the invasion on February the 24th. She said Brussels wanted export controls on 47 additional electronic components that can be used in Russian weapon systems, including drones, missiles, helicopters. The new package of sanctions is also due to place further curbs on Iranian manufacturers that have supplied Russia with drones used to attack Ukraine's infrastructure. And that's all on News Plus. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ambassador Jessie. Please stay tuned and enjoy the rest of our programs.